She called me crying at 7 in the morning. Her name was Margaret, and she was 72 years old, and she had not slept through the night in almost 3 years. She said to me, "Dr. Jenkins, I wake up at exactly 3 in the morning, every single night, wide awake, heart pounding, mind racing, and I cannot get back to sleep no matter what I do." She told me she had tried melatonin, warm milk, white noise machines, blackout curtains, everything her daughter could find on the internet. Nothing worked. And then she said something that broke my heart a little. She said, "I think this is just what getting old feels like." I want you to hold that for a second, because if you are watching this right now, there is a very good chance you have said something similar to yourself. Maybe not out loud, but you have thought it, and I am here today to tell you. With everything I know after 18 years of practicing integrative medicine in Austin, Texas, and working with over 4,000 patients in the 60-plus age group, that what Margaret believed is simply not true. My name is Dr. Sarah Jenkins. I specialize in integrative medicine, which means I look at the whole person, the brain, the body, the nervous system, the emotional life, not just the symptoms sitting in front of me. And in the last several years, the number one complaint I hear from patients over the age of 60 is not joint pain. It is not blood pressure. It is this: I wake up in the middle of the night and I cannot get back to sleep. What I discovered after digging deep into the research, after listening to thousands of patients describe their nights in extraordinary detail, is that this is not random. It is not bad luck. And it is absolutely not an inevitable part of aging. There are 5 very specific things happening inside the aging brain that are causing this. And once you understand them, you can actually do something about it. But first, I need you to understand why this matters so much. Because most people treat broken sleep like an inconvenience, a nuisance, something to push through with an extra cup of coffee. What the research is showing us now is that chronically disrupted sleep, specifically repeated middle-of-the-night waking, is one of the most significant risk factors for accelerated cognitive decline in adults over 60. A landmark study published in Nature Aging found that sleeping less than 6 hours per night in your 60s is associated with a 30% higher risk of dementia later in life. Your brain does not just rest during sleep. It cleans itself. It consolidates memory. It flushes out a toxic protein called beta amyloid, the same protein linked to Alzheimer's disease. When sleep breaks down night after night, that cleaning process breaks down with it. This is urgent, not in a scary way, in a you deserve to know this way. So let me walk you through the 5 brain reasons this is happening to you and what they actually mean. The first reason is a breakdown in your circadian rhythm, and this is the foundation of everything. As we age, the brain's internal clock, controlled by a tiny region called the suprachiasmatic nucleus, begins to shift. Your sleep timing moves earlier. Your body starts preparing for sleep at 8 p.m. and waking at 3 a.m. as if that is a completely reasonable schedule. This is not a character flaw. It is a neurological shift. But the good news is it responds beautifully to light exposure. Bright natural light in the morning and dramatically reduced blue light after 7 p.m. This single habit change has helped dozens of my patients begin reclaiming their nights within 2 weeks. The second reason is a drop in GABA, your brain's natural calming chemical. GABA is like a gentle hand on the shoulder that tells your nervous system you are safe, you can rest. After 60, GABA production declines significantly, and when you wake up at 3 a.m. with that racing, almost anxious feeling, that is often GABA deficiency talking. Your brain is not in danger, but it does not have enough of this chemical messenger to convince itself of that. Magnesium, specifically magnesium glycinate, has been shown in multiple studies to support GABA function. It is one of the most underused tools in sleep medicine for older adults. The third reason is cortisol mistiming. In a healthy sleep cycle, cortisol, your alertness hormone, should rise slowly in the early morning hours, peaking around 8 a.m. to wake you up naturally. But in many adults over 60, especially those under chronic stress, cortisol spikes too early, right around 2 or 3 in the morning. That spike is what jolts you awake. Your brain thinks it is time to be alert. It is not a malfunction. It is a miscalibration. Gentle evening routines, adaptogens like ashwagandha, and reducing stimulating content before bed can all help recalibrate this rhythm. The fourth reason is something most doctors never mention to their older patients, and that is neuroinflammation. Low-grade chronic inflammation in the brain disrupts the sleep-wake architecture in ways that are subtle but devastating over time. This type of inflammation is driven by things like diet, gut health, and even loneliness. Yes, research shows that social isolation measurably increases brain inflammation in older adults. Omega-3 fatty acids, turmeric, and certain B vitamins have strong evidence for reducing this kind of inflammation and supporting deeper, more continuous sleep. The fifth reason, and this is the one that changes people when they hear it, is a decline in something called adenosine sensitivity. Adenosine is a chemical that builds up in your brain throughout the day and creates what scientists call sleep pressure. The more adenosine accumulates, the sleepier you feel. But as we age, the brain's sensitivity to adenosine weakens. You do not feel that same pressure building. So even after a terrible night, you might not feel tired enough to sleep well the following night. And the cycle continues. One of the most powerful things you can do is actually restrict time in bed temporarily to rebuild that adenosine pressure. It sounds counterintuitive, but it works. Now, I want to pause here for just a moment, because I know some of you are writing these things down, and I want to make sure you have access to everything I am going to share today. If you go to the pinned comment right below this video, I have left a link there for you. It will take you exactly where you need to go. Please do not leave without checking that. I want to tell you about something I came across after months of researching exactly these 5 mechanisms: the circadian dysfunction, the GABA decline, the cortisol mistiming, the neuroinflammation, and the adenosine sensitivity. I was looking for something that addressed the brain specifically, not just generic sleep support, and I found a formula called the Brain Song. What struck me immediately was that it was designed with the aging brain in mind, targeting the exact neurological pathways I had been studying. I do not talk about products often. I am careful about what I share with my patients. But when I started recommending the Brain Song, what came back to me were stories I was not expecting. Dorothy from Georgia is 67 years old. She had been waking at 3 a.m. for 4 years. She told me she felt like a ghost during the day, present but not really there. After 6 weeks, she said she was sleeping 5 to 6 consecutive hours for the first time in years. She also told me her grandchildren had started commenting that she seemed more like herself again. That detail stayed with me. Carol is 71 from Arizona. She had tried 3 different prescription sleep aids, each with side effects that made her feel worse than the insomnia did. She was skeptical. She told me that up front. But she said within the first 2 weeks, she noticed she was falling back asleep after waking instead of lying there for 2 hours. She called it the first real hope I have had. Linda from Tennessee is 68. She came to me not just because of the waking, but because she had begun forgetting words mid-sentence and misplacing things daily. She was frightened. After 2 months supporting her sleep and using the Brain Song, she told me the word finding had noticeably improved. She said, "I feel like the fog is starting to lift." Barbara is 74 from Virginia, and she was the most resistant of all. She said to me, "Dr. Jenkins, I have been told nothing will help at my age." And I told her what I'm telling you right now, that I have watched too many patients reclaim their nights to believe that. After 8 weeks, Barbara was sleeping through to 5 a.m. consistently. She told me she had started reading again in the mornings, something she had not done in years, because she finally had the mental clarity for it. These are not miracle stories. These are what happens when you address the real reasons, the brain reasons, instead of just chasing the symptom. So here is what I want you to do right now. Go to the pinned comment below this video. I left the link to the brain song there for you. I do not want you to leave without knowing this exists, because I spent years looking for something that actually addressed the aging brain at this level, and I believe you deserve to know about it. Start with the 5 things we talked about today. Light in the morning, magnesium glycinate at night, a calming evening ritual, anti-inflammatory foods, and protecting your sleep pressure by keeping consistent wake times. These are free. These are powerful, and they work best when your brain has the right nutritional support alongside them. Margaret, the woman I told you about at the beginning, she is sleeping again. Not perfectly, but she told me recently, "I stopped waking up at 3 a.m., feeling like something was wrong with me." That is the shift I want for you. Not just better sleep, a better relationship with your own brain. Go check that pinned comment. And please, share this video with someone you love who is going through this. Because no one should spend their nights lying awake wondering if this is just what getting old feels like. It is not. And now you know why.